no one has our numbers. No one has the level and richness of development of product out there. So with Sparklet coming out, and it's kind of like our debut into like the big world, I am very excited for everyone in Web3 and in gaming in general.
Welcome everybody to our Q4 roadmap recap. We're doing things a little bit differently this time. I'm on with our Chief of Staff, Danny Brown. Danny, welcome to this. We're doing things differently this time. So this is our first time. We're treading new territory here.
Yes. Well, there's a few reasons why we're doing it a little differently. First of all, I want to say hi to all of you, our players, creators, and builders. Thanks for joining us. I hope this will give you a bit of a recap of what we've been working on in one place, because you kind of know because you've been following, but because there are a lot of different types of players and ecosystem players in Upland, not everyone knows everything. So one, it's really important for us to have everything in one place to sort of have a recap. And another reason why we're doing right now Q3 and Q4 progress is obviously because we had the biggest news in Upland that happened in a long time, which was the Sparks to Sparklet vote. So what we usually do is we have the first or second week of every quarter a roadmap that gives a look at, okay, what did we get done last quarter and what we're planning now. What happened in Q4 is that in the first couple of weeks of Q4 is that we had the Sparklet vote, which meant we couldn't really plan for the quarter because the result of the vote by the community really affected our entire roadmap and what we focused on. So once we knew that, yes, Sparklet white paper vote passed in the community, we were able to adjust and work on obviously a lot of the things that were promised for this year, but also a big chunk of our focus was towards, okay, making Sparklet happen. So that's why the roadmap presentation is taking a bit of a different shape, where right now, David and I are going to do Q3 and Q4 recap of all the things that we've done. In January, first couple of weeks in January, we're going to have a Q1 roadmap for what's being planned for January, February, and March in terms of product and in app. In the meantime, we're going to have kind of I don't want to call it a campaign. David, how would you describe our Spark utility planning?
A discussion, a discussion around Spark utility, asking you guys in the community for what you want to see on the roadmap when it comes to Spark utility in 2024. So it's the first time actually, at least since I've been here, that we've done it this way with a roadmap, with a specific item in the roadmap. So it's very exciting. You guys, right now, you can head over to Facebook or Reddit and leave your ideas on what you want to see with Spark utility in 2024 on that roadmap.
So I think it's really important. Obviously, 2024 is going to be the year of Spark and Sparklet, where following the vote and the planning that we're doing, Sparklet is going to be tradable on external exchanges, external to the Upland ecosystem. And an important milestone indeed, but what's really important is also the development of Spark utility. And because we're planning Q1, but we're also planning the entire year for 2024, we first want to hear from you. What do you think Spark utility, beyond what's already outlined in the white paper, should be, and how we can develop that entire ecosystem to match our vision?
Yeah, it's very exciting. Again, like I said, the first time, at least since I've been here, that we've done anything like this. Before we move on, Danny, can we pull back the curtain a little bit on, I think it's good to recap the Sparklet vote. What was it like behind the scenes? Did you, especially you personally, did you expect the community to say yes? Did you expect it to be super controversial? I mean, it overwhelmingly was voted yes for, but what was it like waiting for that vote to come in?
So we had 87.25% yes, which was really exciting for us to see that the community really understood our vision here. For me personally, as a Web3 person, I've been in Web3 since 2016. This was something that was really important for me because I really do believe in a future where progressive decentralization can actually move the entire ecosystem forward while opening it slowly in a very, I don't want to say conservative, but in a very professional way. And this is a huge step towards it because I've been around Web3 enough to see, 95% of projects that release a token before they have any product, not to even mention release one, even the ones that do have a product, the utility is kind of pathetic. Doing it this way and then being able to showcase Upland as a prime example of what Web3 should strive for in terms of how to design an ecosystem, how to build an economy, and how to do it right in a way that when it's a smaller baby, it's less exposed to external volatility. But when it's strong, it has enough utility holders and an ecosystem, then bringing it out there is actually the right step because it gives more power to users. So for me, this was like what I live for.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that imagery of a baby, right? Upland's just a baby right now, and as it grows stronger, you give children, you give more freedom. This progressive decentralization is a great encapsulation of that. And you said we're releasing it professionally. I would use the word deliberately, right? We're deliberately, slowly decentralizing over time.
Exactly, and of course, this also directly matches with the platform capabilities because the Sparklet and Spark are really the gas, the fuel, the energy behind our vision of creator economy and UGC economy. And now I feel like the platform is mature enough that it also has those elements of UGC that were also in the roadmap items, ones that we're going to talk about today and ones that are happening for Q1 and Q2 of next year, really focus on making that at scale for the platform, and Spark is what powers it. So with that in mind, we actually have a special guest.
Hey, we have our head of operations here for this roadmap update. Helly, welcome to the Q4 roadmap update recap.
Hey, excited to be here, guys. As you all know, we opened Miami just a few weeks ago, and I'm sure the community has noticed, we are starting to do things a bit different. I think the city openings or city expansions in general are one of the more exciting things that we have in the game and more engaging. So we want to make sure that we always optimize the way we're doing it to the current energy within the community, how many players we have, how many properties we have available overall, and other activities also, obviously, has a lot to do with other features that we have in the game. Miami, I think, was very different from any other ones. And I can go through a few things that we did different. First of all, just to remind everyone how we opened Miami, what were the details. About half of Miami opened up. Mind you, this is a city of Miami and not Miami Beach. It's about 34 properties, 20%, about 20% FSA properties. And when the city is going to be fully open, it's going to be tier 3. But due to our restriction to make sure that treasure hunting are working as expected, this is set as tier 4 for now. Now, the few cool things that we've done here. In the past, we created a lot of FOMO before a city opening or expansion and creating this anticipation of players towards the city opening. We are kind of exploring another angle to allow more players to participate. We know that city openings are highly competitive. People manage to have land exactly where they want, have super skills. Those are savvy. A lot of OG players who know exactly how to play here. You want to give new users or less experienced users also the ability to get their hands on some exclusive properties. So the way to do that is to announce just a few days before the city opening happen, open a bit more properties than we originally wanted to, and allow ourselves to have more inventory left for a longer time, which will allow us to handhold new players, onboard them, explain to them how to get to where they want to go to, and give them the time that they need in order to understand how to do that. We are highly, we have the City Seller Plaza right now. So any player who has any questions, that is definitely the way to go and learn a little bit from our community managers and other players exactly how to get better. So that will definitely help. Other thing that we've done are the entire block spore plan. We introduced a new cool feature of burning block spores. Burning tokens in general is something that is going to be very interesting because it solves a few things. First of all, it allows the current items that you have become more scarce because you burn and remove some of the mints. And also it allows you to upgrade your items in certain ways. The way we sold block spores is some of them were sold as sweeteners. Sweeteners means that you get the UPX for your USD sell, and you get another item on top of that, which makes a lot of sense for players to buy it because those players usually do want to get the UPX anyway to participate in the city opening. So that was an easy sell. Those sold super, super fast. They also looked phenomenally. So I think that definitely helps. And after the city opening, we sold a bundle of block spores solely for block spores shop owners. That way we're incentivizing players to go to those stores, purchase from them, and create more trades. Players right now, this is in the middle of the challenge, get to burn a selection of block spores to get a block spore that is more unique and rare and is such more valuable. All those sales worked well, as I said. And another thing that we did that I think worked really well is the passes. The passes, we sold them before the city opening. We had 1,000 of those. Having a Miami pass guarantee you a property in Miami in mint price with a 15% chance of getting collection property in mint price. Those were revealed and reserved for players after the collection reveal. So it was very clear to see which one has that extra perk to it. I have to say, I think this one looks so good that I would be very hesitant if I want to get the property or just keep that one as a memorabilia, but that is me. Another thing that we've done a couple of days after the city opening is introduce a new model in Miami, solely in Miami. But the kick to it is that it was available only for a week. So if you start construction during that week, you have that property. Otherwise, you will never be able to get it again. Last but not least, which is one of the challenges that is still ongoing and concludes on Friday, is the Miami cars. As you can see, those super cool cars are currently in manufacturing. Some of them are already ready. All the people who mint properties get into a drawing. The more you mint, the more entries you have in the drawing. Get a chance to get one of those 3 cards. We'll have 5 mints of each. If you are familiar with car prices, you know that this is a very, very valuable item. So let's take a look for a second how those challenges helped us. 50% of the non-FSI properties minted within the first 6 hours, which is phenomenal. We thought we'll have a little bit more left for new players, but our existing players loved those and minted. The block spores and all the passes sold out. The Miami model, judging by the numbers, was extremely loved by our community, and we love that. About 5,800 constructions are currently being manufactured, or some of them, I think this morning I saw about 200 already done manufacturing. So you can browse through Miami and see what those look like on the map. As of now, we're standing on 83% of the non-FSA properties that are already minted. So we're definitely in the process of onboarding players, inviting them to get a cool new property in Miami. And
I have to say, Kelly, new players, when you look at, the way ads are and on social media engagement, they're loving Miami. They're loving the Miami creative. They're loving the Miami properties. I mean, I just moved to Miami, so I can I can attest to how wonderful it is in real life.
Yeah, the thing I liked about the city release is there was more different ways to participate in the city release than ever before. Whether you wanted to buy a pass, you wanted to build this super cool, unique Miami Art Deco building, or you wanted to just mint and have a chance to get one of our Miami vehicles. More ways to participate than previous city openings, for sure.
I think that the really cool kick about this is that instead of having a FOMO for a few days and then maybe a couple of days of excitement, it really gets us to 2 weeks of activations and different challenges about that city, and it creates it's a lot of fun, especially in a city that is as vibrant as Miami. And we will continue to explore all kind of options, see how the community are reacting and loving what we're doing, adjust and reinvent what we're doing to make sure that the city openings continue to be one of the most anticipated and participated.
Yeah, very exciting. Can I ask you a question on the map? And if you can't answer it, we can totally edit this out.
Yes, go ahead.
So a lot of players have a question. You mentioned, actually, as you were going through this is the city of Miami, not Miami Beach. Are we able to say, is Miami Beach going to be its own city?
Miami Beach is going to be, yes, Miami Beach is going to be its own city. I'm not going to share when it's coming, but there is a lot of exciting things coming up.
Very cool.
It is its own city.
Yeah, I know it was being debated in the community. It is its own city, but it is a part of and so it was a big debate in the community. But that's very exciting.
There you have it.
So what I've learned is that there's Miami-Dade County. That includes all those cities, and then there's Miami City, Miami proper, that has its own mayor.
I have to say, I'm learning so much about geography ever since we started city openings. I feel much more knowledgeable now.
Very cool.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, whoever snatched Coconut Grove might have gotten one of these super cool 1920s. I see them in real life. They're the coolest structures ever, and I really hope we're gonna have them, especially when we start having more UGC structures. But yes, Miami Beach is definitely the heart of Art Deco, which is a really foundational architecture for the U.S. in general. So that's good. Definitely going to be exciting.
For sure. Master builder in Miami and other ability to customize your property is going to be so cool, especially in Miami and, in other cool locations like that.
Thank you very much for that update, and get ready. We're almost a quarter one of 2024. Thanks for joining us, Ellie.
Bye, guys.
And with that, so we have one more thing that we're dropping.
Yep, and there's one more big thing to be dropped in the next few days before we turn over to 2024. And this is being able to buy UPX with Ethereum using your MetaMask account. This is a big deal. It's a big deal because we are with Spark and Sparklet, with the general direction that we're taking towards progressive decentralization and opening up the ecosystem. One of the main things is, how do Web3 people actually are used to interacting with their wallets? How are they used to paying? And the first big step towards it is being able to purchase UPX in the Upland store using Ethereum in your MetaMask. So that's happening in the next week or so, and it's a very exciting development. That is just the first step of our MetaMask integration. We're also going to have additional steps of allowing other ERC20 tokens to serve as payment for the Upland store. and opening it up to payment not only for UpX, but also eventually for Spark in-game and for other bundles and exciting things that we have in the store.
Yeah, it's so exciting. What a way to end the year, adding this option for players. Super cool.
Live event we went over with Khali, so I'm gonna skip the city openings, but we do have so many different live events that happened in the past 2 quarters. Naming just some of them, of course, we have our yearly gingerbread, the holiday sale that is gingerbread. It's going on now. We have the annual Halloween. Both have been around for about 3 years, right? Third year in a row. Other ones like the ugly sweater contest that now we have with the wearables, and of course a lot of partner events like celebrating Cabooses' birthday with Own the Dodge DAO, having Brazilian Fashion Week in Upland, having a Susan G. Komen annual sale for Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, where I have the cool. Do you have the cool pink outfit? Because
I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's my never taking it off. So I think it's the more partners that we have, the more communities that come on Upland. Some of these are completely organic that came to us and want to have an event or connect their existing event to Upland through our dev shops or because they're already working with Nowhere. And some of them are yearly things that we're working on. David, is there other things you want to mention about events that are happening? Because I know you're planning a lot.
Yeah, no, I think what we really saw the second half this year is a doubling down and an increase in live 3D events. And I think that has some really cool potential for the future. Right now, every day in the City Center Plaza, which we just dropped, which is this cool new way for new players to come in and learn, get a really good foundation of Upland and expose them to other players. Almost immediately, every day we have someone from the community hosting some sort of event in there. That's only going to increase going forward. And I just think it was a really good foundation. In fact, even just looking at these events here, a lot of them have to do with 3D items, 3D wearables that you can put on your legits. And that to me has been one of the favorite aspects of the second half of the year or this last quarter in Upland is being able to meet people in 3D and realize this like true metaverse vision. You get to see it come to life. There's nothing like I was sitting in the City Plaza the first week that it opened up and I was just standing there and then one player came up and we started to talk and then 3 more players came up and then 5 more players. And by the end, there's 25, 30 people standing around just chatting. And I think that's the power of the metaverse and shows the future of Upland.
There was a lot of movement in MetaVentures. I'll review some of them really quickly. Obviously, all of them have their own blog post if you want to dig in deeper. We had Speedway MetaVentures coming, UGC asset submission process with Playground, completely revived and optimized in order to allow a lot more UGC creators. And I've been seeing both on social media and in the game, following a few really cool shops, what the players have been working on, and they're just amazing. And I know that the process has been streamlined and is now gaining a lot of traction that will allow for mass scale. So that's really exciting. We had earnings for terminal owners, MetaVentures this quarter. We also opened variety legit shops. Really exciting from last week. I know I was really excited about it, but everyone else was. It made a lot of noise, right? Year-long ornaments.
Yeah, that's a big change. Yeah,
I think that's really something that's foundational because so much about Upland is the map and the structures, and now being able to have something year round in your structure. I think there are a lot of cool business use cases that can be done with artists, a lot more artists coming in, graffiti. I'm really excited to see what's coming out from that. One of really cool things that we've been seeing is that now we have partners that come to Upland and open their own meta ventures. So until now, there was a lot of, if you were an Upland partner, we really had to hold their hands because we were working on developing the tools for like a self-serve for partners. And now I think Kaboom, which has been doing really well in Upland, selling out, having their playground map assets super highly valued by all users and all going for a good cause. But when you think of the back end of this is a prime example to how we see the future of Upland, where really, like Kaboom, I really see any NGO, any brand being able to come in and do self-serve UGC for their brand, for different items that they produce in Upland, using the existing MetaVenture and UGC tools that we have. A lot has been going on in MetaVentures. What was your favorite, David?
Yeah, my favorite is honestly the map assets. Players' production of map assets has really ramped up as MetaVentures have been streamlined and as that entire process has been streamlined. And I imagine, like you said, we're just at the beginning of that. Imagine next year at this time, the sheer variety that is out there, all the new creators jumping in with different map assets. There's doormats I've seen that players get that I got to get my hands on.
Oh, I want the little, there's like a Tokyo one with a little cat. Oh,
yeah, it's so good, but they're so good. I got for Halloween from Too Stupid to Win, shout out to his shop, a graveyard thing that I put on my property. Next year at this time, I can only imagine what's going to be there. There's Christmas, really cool, like metal decorative Christmas trees that are out there. It's exciting. It's exciting to see. So
and I think as we're seeing also a lot of both organic communities as nodes in Upland, but also external communities that have something in common, like Oniforce or Own the Doge DAO community. Like they're a community already around a specific brand that has a brand look and feel. And this opens up for them the ability to really have their community personality decorated in their neighborhood.
Yeah, I think one thing too that we didn't mention, but that we just dropped on social is this really cool stat, an impressive stat, 850,000 USD sales in MetaVentures in Upland. That number is huge, and that number is only going to get bigger from here.
And it's only the USD direct sales.
Correct.
That's not even counting the 1.3 million UPX in sales.
Yeah, directly to players. Like what we're doing, nobody else is doing right now.
Exactly. So MetaVenture is definitely the future of Upland. Legits. It seems like a lifetime ago, but we did have FIFA Women's World Cup Australia and New Zealand in Upland. Do you remember that, David? That was a while ago.
It feels like years ago, and that was just this last summer.
Yeah. So of course, all the mechanics that were developed for Qatar worked really well here. Super engaged community, and I think soon we're actually going to have the watermark reveal.
Correct, for the FIFA Women's World Cup.
For the FIFA Women's World Cup. So that's but even more exciting is the new NFLPA season, because this one, the third one that we've had with the NFLPA, came with new mechanics that have been super popular. So both passes and wearables. Okay, moving on. David, I mean, in cars, we had some crazy development in terms of product. One, we had player agency. We have race for UPX, and of course we had the stock car pro sales. Car people, what do car people like?
Yeah, it's been really fun to see racing evolve, and it's going to be fun to see here next year where racing and cars go from here. So I think just adding skill to racing has been huge for racing. So it's much less RNG now. There still is that element where we're getting this fine balance between how much control do you want to be? We don't want to be a full racing game like a Forza, but we also don't want to be a full RNG game where you just hit play and then you watch your car go around. And I think we've hit this really nice sweet spot right now where there is physics, there is skill. You have to know the tracks. We've partnered with the Upland Racing League on a few events, and to see the amount of time and practice that goes into getting good at racing. This quarter, we introduced braking, we introduced physics. So you now skid out if you take a turn too fast. Like you said, racing for UPIX is a big new feature as well. And then we've also streamlined the Speedway MetaVenture process. So there's more speedways available today, more quality speedways available today than we had in the last quarter for sure. And it's been really cool to see. Again, all of the racing events, they're just fun. And it's exciting to see where racing goes from here. Kart racing. We've yet to do a kart racing event, and I cannot wait. We just dropped the Wonderland season karts that are the gingerbread. They look so good, and users are starting to create karts. You're going to see those dropping here soon. And so we're going to have some fun thematic kart races coming up.
Moving on, UDN. This has been insane. UDN is booming. So we currently have 17 live dev shops. We just had the challenge that we've been running over the past few months close, and I don't want to. We're gonna have about 6 to 8 new mini games following the challenge being launched in Upland, which is just more fun things to do and connecting with our APIs, both to user identity and user wallet with escrow service. Just to for you guys to understand, escrow containers for assets, both UPIX and NFTs. The quantity of resolved escrow containers is over 100,000. Okay, wow. Over 100,000 escrow containers through the UDN APIs. So that means that's the way you've been, as a player, interacting with your wallet asset with a third-party application that sometimes is called second layer metaverse. Total UPIX transactions. David, are you ready for this? It's your hype stat that you haven't gotten yet.
Here we go.
I've reserved this for today.
Okay.
Total UPIX transactions for UDN just surpassed 400 million. That's $400,000 worth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So Upland is the place to come develop. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So this is just showing how the ecosystem is built. In a way, I think it's been trending. There's been a lot of talk in the Web3 ecosystem on, GameFi platforms and what is a GameFi platform. And Upland is really the epitome of it with UDN, because we have an existing ecosystem. We have existing infrastructure of both payments and no-code NFT minting, that all of this can connect and be used by the different developers, whether it's because they have an experience, they have a game, or they have a service that they've connected to Upland. The open architecture really allows for developers to build on any technology that they want and connect it to Upland, as opposed to a lot of other worlds and GameFi platforms that kind of restrict what type, you can only use Unity or a specific tech stack. So that really opens it up to a lot more developers. But these numbers that we just shared, over $400,000 worth of economic activity from really just 17 dev shops that have been live, really shows the potential of the Upland ecosystem for third-party developers and how it's going to grow. And this is a big part of our future. Well, maybe we've also finding innovative ways to integrate them better also into our live ops. Maybe David, you want to give an example? Yeah,
sure. So when we opened up Tokyo, we partnered with 2 of our layer 2 projects, Upland Kingdoms and Uplandia, and you were able to do Tokyo quests in each of those projects and earn block explorers that then had utility number one, they have utility in Upland. They're collectible. You can sell them, et cetera, et cetera. Use them as your avatar. But then they have additional utility inside of both of those projects. We're actually running one right now with the release of Miami, where you can earn neon trees that introduces for the first time in Uplandia magic. And these are going to have utility with magic inside of Uplandia. I don't know of any other project that's doing that and partnering with their layer 2s in such a direct way, and expect more of it. There's going to be more of it going forward here in the future.
There's actually one really exciting example that I know is coming up, but you're just gonna have to wait for January to hear all about it. But the idea of asset minting in Upland and then that asset having utility in the layer 2 game, that's going to boom next year. And I think already in January, you're going to see an exciting example. And we're also starting a fun tradition of quarterly UDN roadmap update. So you're not just hearing me and Nidan all the time.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I think that we had our first layer 2 roadmap update last quarter, quarter 3, looking at quarter 4. We'll have our next one in January. And it really, I think, underscores the shift at Upland from strictly layer 1 to, primarily thinking about layer 2 projects here and how it's bringing new experiences to players here on the platform. So
platform mechanics, a lot has been going on here. I'll run through them, and of course you can read more, and also we can have an AMA about a lot of these. The onboarding experience has been expanded. So the mission system has been super successful, and we moved on to phase 2. Also coming up before the New Year's. Oh, I forgot about this one. Car racing mission.
Yes.
That's also coming up before the New Year's. And of course, City Plaza, which is a great onboarding experience for newbies, both because there are a lot of OG players who hang around there and give this like personalized, okay, this is what you should do, but also it's a more immersive experience to, I can now visualize all the different things I can do with Upland. And of course, the missions have been super successful. Other platform mechanics, the exciting news of MetaMask integration for UpX bundles. Localization has been pivotal in really rebuilding the world, but doing it with different communities around the world, right? So before this year, we had English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And in the past couple of quarters, we added Japanese and German in-app. So that has been a mechanic that's important for us for new geographies and to serve our communities in those geographies that we see a growing community coming up. Last but not least, whitelisting. The whitelisting mechanics opens up a lot of different use cases that really connect also whether to sales or UDN, or we can even apply those in cafes. There's a lot we can do. We're just starting to experiment with the different whitelisting opportunities, but the mechanic is already live. And the block explore burn mechanics, as Kelly explained, that we used for the first time in Miami.
And properties on passes, I think, is a big one for new players, being able to buy a pass that reserves a property for you for a new city opening. Like I said, especially for new players is huge. A lot, man. We've been a part of it, and I didn't realize how much has been added.
Yeah, that's why I also said we other than the fact that we had the Sparklet vote, I said about this, I'm like, it's going to take 2 hours if we need to talk about what we did and what we're planning. So we need to cut it anyways. So this is good. Of course, Sparklet. I mean, this is when you think about the focus and attention and priorities of a lot of our team in Upland and what we've been working on, of course, leading up to the vote, working on the white paper, but everything in the back end, both with now that it has been approved, building the bridge, the smart contracts, working with different partners that we cannot announce yet, but obviously top priority for most of our business development efforts right now is speaking to exchanges, speaking to Web3 partners about Sparklet and how it can be used. This is a huge focus for us, has been for the past quarter, and will continue to be all throughout 2024. Oh, look, there's a video. It's so beautiful. I'm gonna stop it because David, I want to hear from your perspective. I know Totem is such an exciting part of it because it's a new mechanic, because it's so interactive. Why is Totem your favorite?
Yeah, Totem. So Totem, let's quick recap. Totem is us simulating life or getting ready for life in Upland, rather, where you're going to be able to earn Totem, which then eventually you'll be able to exchange 1-for-1 for STEM when it finally drops. So this is us experimenting with it, seeing how it works, what it's going to be like when players get a hold of life in Upland. And it's been huge. Number one, the totems look amazing. This was our first use case. Correct me if I'm wrong if it's not our first, Danny, but our first use case of Upland utilizing AI, enabling us to create on the creative side so many totems and get them out there alongside attributes. Each totem is 1-for-1 unique to itself. And we're getting ready to launch the gamification here the first couple weeks here in January. So stay tuned for that. In my mind, as a gamer, it's a really cool example of gamification, another layer of gamification coming to Upland via totems. So very, very excited for it. And it'll be interesting to see what these do in the hands of players, how this is going to affect life coming into Upland, what we learn from it, and then, get a chance to earn some STEM from it.
I think most people don't think that way, which I love it how it's the two of us, because it's like the gamer and the Web3 person. Because when I look at this, I think, this is DeFi, right? Like this is decentralized finance, but encapsulated in the most gamified way possible. And I think when there's a lot of discussion now, all these one end of the year for 2023 amongst a lot of the Web3 and the crypto experts, and looking ahead, I have 3 different reports on trends for crypto and Web3 trends for 2024, and all of them, without exception, mention GameFi and DeFi elements that are gamified. And something like Totem is the prime example that they're talking is this is what's missing, in Web3. And I'm like, ta-da! It's something that a regular non-Web3 person can totally come in and start engaging with as a gamer. Or as someone who's looking for a more sophisticated experience that is part game, part earn. And then it's also an example of how an economy works and how you can gamify an economic process that actually makes a lot of sense. It has a lot of math behind it. It has a lot of algorithms behind it that are part of the decentralized finance system. So I think from both these perspectives and the combination, STEM and life and totems is really a prime example of what everyone's been talking about.
Yeah, and it fits our gamer profile. So I think Upland really suits gamers who are strategic. They're map-based gamers. So they're gamers who are used to, hey, I'm looking at this map and I'm trying to min-max my results here. So what do I need to do to get the most out of this? And that's all Totem is. Totems are figuring out, okay, how do I get the maximum amount of Totem as efficiently as possible out of feeding my totem here. And it's going to be trial and error and tracking it and then figuring it out. Okay, this is the type of attributes. Here's how I maximize that. It just fits the Upland player base, I think, perfectly.
Oh, another exciting development. Can't wait for January.
Wow. So I did not realize everything that we had done the last 2 quarters. This was really good to go through, and I'm very excited to see what's coming in 2024. Danny, I'll leave it with you. Closing thoughts as we close out this recap.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I can say about 2024, but actually I do want to focus on the recap. There is no one out there that has what Upland has. Just looking at this in terms of the ecosystem, the economic activity, all the different aspects of the community, what they're building on their own, even without asking us, just using the tools that we have and their engagement with what we are putting out there. No one has our numbers. No one has the level and richness of development of product out there. So with Sparklet coming out, and it's kind of like our debut into like the big world, I am very excited for everyone in Web3 and in gaming in general to see what we've built here. And, kudos to our existing community for pushing us to always improve, always build more, faster, better, for giving us feedback. I really think they will be crowned as, the early adopters of something huge.
Yeah, well said. Thank you guys for joining us on this Q4, quarter four, I don't know how to say it correctly, roadmap recap. Appreciate you guys. Get ready. 2024 is just around the corner. Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll have our quarter one update. Don't forget to head over to Reddit, Facebook, look for those posts, give us your feedback, and work with us on our next roadmap for 2024. Thank you very much. Have a good one, everyone.